because in the Mexican American fashion handbook, it says you must have enough black that at any point in time you could drop everything and go to a funeral. It is the law of the land if you're a Mexicana. Just saying. And then it helps because it makes you look more slender. Okay, so this act, you know, you're still going to hear songs I'm not going to cast in, but it's a little different. It's a little more personal. When I sat down with Steve, we started looking at songs, and he introduced me to a few songs that I had never heard before. And this song, the next song I'm going to sing, really stood out to me. When I was in my 20s and I had met my then boyfriend, now husband, well, thank you very much. We had like a long distance relationship. He lived in San Antonio and I lived in Dallas, and on the weekends, on Friday night, he would drive 4.5 hours up from San Antonio, Dallas, because who wouldn't? And this happened for like 2 years almost. Well, actually I won't even say 2 years because then I went to grad school. But we did this kind of thing, and I remember being on Friday nights just being so excited because he was going to be there, and that was like always just like, woo, well, not my husband then, but my boyfriend's going to be here, and the poor guy would get in like at 9:30, and I would just be so excited. So when Steve played me the song for the first time, that's why I heard that. So this song reminds me of that. Okay. Well, pop the champagne, break out the cologne, turn up the moonlight, turn off the phone. Well, what a surprise, a man is in sight, and I will be loved tonight. To savor his skin, to nozzle his cheek, to slaughter his lips, to move with his hips. Our worlds will be soft as we softly ignite, and I will be loved tonight. You can go from week to week, you can go from year to year, not a hand placed on your cheek, not a whisper in your ear. You can make it through okay, you can live and laugh and flirt, it's quite easy in the day. It's just the nights that always hurt. So let darkness come, 'cause that will be fine, for I'll have a soul entangled in mine. We'll do as we please, and please hold me tight, for I will be loved. I will be loved. Yes, I will be loved I'm sure right now my mom is blushing because I said hips. My mom's so gonna get embarrassed because I didn't tell her about any of this. So my mom has always like these great jewels of wisdoms that she like has dropped on me like for the last 30 decades of my life, and a lot of them are really, 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 really good. One is if you get something, put it back where you found it, and it'll be there the next time you need it. One that was passed down from my grandmother was don't talk about other people's kids because you don't know how yours are going to turn out. Another one was put on makeup It's the difference between caring and not caring. Most of the time, I don't give a shit. And one of my favorite jewels that she's ever given me was, it's okay to drink. And it's okay to get a little bit drunk. But you don't want to be the one drinking so much so fast that you're dancing on the table with your panties around your ankles. I haven't. No, panties down, no. I mean, well, like ankle table dancing. Is that too much information? Never has that happened. I should say that. You know. But one thing that she's always told me was, you can't help who you fall in love with. And I found that to be true. When you know that the cliche, love comes when you least expect it. Exactly. Freaking hate that cliche. And I hate it because in my case it was true. I had sworn off men, not that I had any flocking around me. You know, it was like, woo, men, back up, I swear off you. I'm like, none of you are around me, so men. I'm not going to go after you this time. I'm going to graduate school and I'm going to be a star. And And so I was just like, no men in the life, boom. And all of a sudden this guy kind of comes in and I've told him, like, you were supposed to be a thing. Like, it wasn't supposed to like really go anywhere. And I went to graduate school. And he stayed in San Antonio. We still talked and everything like that. And I found that I was in love with this man. And this was the wrong time to be in love with this man. Because I had a future to think of. And so when I was looking at songs, I was talking to my mom about this one song, and it's about a woman who is married to an older guy, and he's very comforting to her, and he takes care of her. And then all of a sudden, this, you know, it's a good fit, it's comfortable. And then this young man comes sweeping in, and they fall in love, and he offers her a world that she never thought was ever going to be there for her. So I'm telling my mom about this, and I said, so she has a choice. She can stay with the man she's married to, or she can run off with this man with whom she's found this passionate love. And my mom goes, but she stays, right? Sure, Mom. Yeah, that's exactly what happens. But for me, it wasn't about two men coming into my life. For me, the thing I was married to was being an artist. I knew how to be an artist. I knew that portion of my life. And then, when I least expected it and least wanted it in my life, this man who comes in and gives me and offers me a world that I never thought was ever going to be available to me. So this song for me isn't about man versus man. It's about the world that I had and that I was living. And the thing that really made me change my mind about it was he proposed to me, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. And then I started getting cold feet because I knew how to be an artist, but I didn't know how to really be in love. And so I remember I had done a show, and then the very next weekend I went to another show. And the people around me were like, hey, saw you in that show last weekend. You were awesome. Hey, Cristela, you were great in that show. Oh my God, you were the best thing about that show last week. And I was like, oh my God, I can't leave this. I can't leave this. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I'm supposed to be. I know how to do this. I know how to be this. And I got home, and I washed my little dish that I'd eaten on, and I put it up, and I sat there, and the phone didn't ring. And nobody emailed, and it was quiet, and I was alone. And I realized I couldn't bundle up all of those people with me. I couldn't take them with me home, but that I could have that there, and I could have somebody to come home to. So this song for me is about that choice, and it's called Meadowlark. I had a favorite story of a meadowlark who lived where the rivers wide. Her voice could match the angels in its glory, but she was blind. The lark was blind. An old king came and took her to his palace, where the walls were varnished bronze and gold in a braid. And he fed her fruit and nuts from an ivory chalice. wide and cruel, and I'll love you for life if you will sing for me. Then one day as the lark sang by the water, the god of the sun heard her in his flight, and his singing moved him so he came and brought her the gift of sight. He gave her sight, and she opened her eyes to the shimmer and the splendor of this beautiful young god, so proud and strong. And the call to the lark in a voice both rough and tender, come along, fly with me, my meadowlark, fly with me on the silver morning, past the sea where the dolphins bark. We will dance on the coral beaches, make a feast of the plums and peaches, just as far as your vision reaches. Fly with me. But the meadowlark said no, for the old king loved her so. She couldn't bear to want his pride. And as the sun god flew away, and when the king came down that day, he found his meadowlark had died. Every time I heard that part, I cried. And now I stand here starry-eyed and stormy. Oh, just when I thought my heart was finally numb, a beautiful young man appears before me, singing, come, oh, won't you come? And what do I do if finally, for the first time, the one I am burning for returns the glow? If love has come at last, it's picked the worst time. Still I know I've got to go. Fly away, meadowlark, fly away on the silver morning. If I stay, I'll grow to curse the dark. So it's off when the days won't bind me. I know I leave wounds behind me, but I won't let tomorrow find me back this way. Before my past once again can blind me. Fly away, and we won't wait to say goodbye. My beautiful young So I left graduate school, and honestly, I'm kind of cocky a little bit because I fully expected Eddie to be the one who was all like, I don't think I can do this. She's a little bit crazy. But instead, like it's stressful to do a wedding. I got this iconic picture of my mom doing this the day of the wedding. But the night before, you know, we had a beautiful wedding. It was gorgeous. It was kind of, you know, homespun, but still elegant. That said, the night before the wedding, as my friends and my family had just done the whole rehearsal with me, I was sitting in the bathroom of the church weeping. for like 20 minutes because it was just so stressful. And I was surprised nobody caught me. So, at that moment, I felt a little something like this. Really, do not make me destroy you, Kennedy. Seriously.
Today is for Amy. Amy, I give you the rest of my life to cherish and to keep you, to honor you forever. Today is for Amy, my happily soon to be wife. Amy, we're really getting married.
Here because if everybody's here, I want to thank you all for coming to the wedding. I'd appreciate you going even more. I mean, you must have lots of better things to do and not a word of it to Paul. Remember, Paul, you know the man I'm going to marry, but I'm not because I wouldn't ruin anyone as wonderful as he is. But I thank you all for the gifts and the flowers. Thank you all. Now it's back to the showers. And don't tell Paul, but I'm not getting married today. Bless this day, tragedy of life, husband yoked to wife.
My good cufflinks anywhere.
They're on the dresser, next to my suicide note. Listen, everybody, look, I don't know what you're waiting for. A wedding? What's a wedding? It's a prehistoric ritual where everybody promises fidelity forever, which is maybe the most horrifying word I've ever heard, and which is followed by a honeymoon where suddenly he'll realize he's saddled with a nut and want to kill me, which you should. So listen, thank you all for the gifts and the flowers. Thank you all. Now it's back to the showers. Thank you all. You've been really grand and whatever today. Why is nobody listening? Goodbye. Go and cry at another person's wake. If you're quick for a kick, you could pick up a christening, but please, on my knees, there's a human life at stake. I kind of want to have to tell you, what are the words of this part?
Listen, everybody. I'm afraid you didn't hear.
Oh, that's it. Thank you very much. Let's try this again. Listen, everybody, I'm afraid you didn't hear. Or do you want to see a crazy lady fall apart in front of you? It isn't only Paul who will be ruining his life. You know, both of us be losing our identities. I telephoned my analyst about it, and he said to see on Monday. But on Monday, I'll be floating in the Hudson with the other garbage. I'm not well, so I'm not getting married. You've been swell, but I'm not getting married. Thank you all, but I'm not getting married. So clear the hall, because I'm not getting married. But I'm not getting married today. Bless this bride, totally insane, slipping down the drain, and bless this day in our hearts as it starts to rain.
Today is for
Go, can't you go? Look, you know I adore you all, but why watch me die like Eliza on the ice? But perhaps I'll collapse in the abs right before you. Also take back the cake, burn the shoes, and pour the rice. Look, I didn't want to have to tell you, but I may be coming down with hepatitis, and I think I'm gonna faint into it. I'm gonna go on to two. I'm gonna 27 down, like 37 butter knives, 37 big boys, 57 candle holders.
One more thing.
I am not getting married.
Softly said.
So I'm not getting married.
With this ring.
But I'm not getting married.
I need weds.
I'm not getting married.
Let us pray that we're not getting married today.
That line is Rachel Faulkner.
Yolanda Carrizales.
You want a beer?
We'll meet you next door.
All right. be the pianist. Okay. All right. So, you might be thinking, oh. No, when I woke up the very next morning, I knew I had made exactly the right choice. And 9 years later, I still say it was exactly the right choice. Technology. Aww. Is it really me? Is it really true? Suddenly I'm beautiful, being here with you. Deep inside your eyes, someone's face I see. Someone who is beautiful. Is it really me? Moments ago, I was alone, hoping that this could be. Now here I am, safe in your arms, and I'm no longer lonely. Is it really me? Is it really true? Suddenly I'm beautiful, all because of you. Suddenly I'm beautiful. Beautiful with And that ends the technology portion of our evening. Okay. So, as I said before, we got married. We ended up moving to England for 4 years. Now, England was a great assignment. We lived in San Antonio for a little bit. And this was right after September 11th. So I was having a little difficulty finding work. And our first big purchase that we ever made was a car. We had been married like all of 2 weeks, and we bought this car. And so we're sitting there, and the guy says, "What do you do, sir?" And he says, "I'm in the military." And the guy looks at me and goes, "What do you do, ma'am?" And I said, "I'm between jobs." Makes sense, you know, I'm, 28 or something. And so some people are doing math right now. And so I said, "I'm between jobs," because I felt like I was between jobs. I just needed to get to San Antonio and find one. And he goes, "Oh, you're a housewife." And I said, "Now this is not to down housewives. This is not that." But I went, "No, I'm just between jobs." And he goes, "That makes you a housewife." And I looked at him and so badly wanted to say, "Well, we need adjectives here. That makes you an asshole." No, I didn't do that. And so we get to San Antonio, then we go to England. Now, going to England is great, but it's hard. It's hard. It was very hard for me for the first 18 months. Because like I said before, I had a real expectation of what my life was going to be. And suddenly, there was this thing that was happening in my life, being married, being a wife, that I never had the expectation of being, ever. So I didn't know how to deal with that. And then there was this expectation that I did have that was no longer there. So we get to England, and I can't find work. It's very hard if you're a national to get a job there, because they have to really, really want you and stuff to do stuff. So for the first 18 months, I was basically unemployed. So I was, in fact, the housewife. I didn't really have any kind of purpose. So I thought, well, I know how to be an artist, but I don't really know how to be a wife. This was very early in our marriage. I don't know how to be a wife. So I'm going to see what that's like kind of throw yourself into it. And so I started like buying Women's Day magazines. Burn them if you have them. Burn them now, okay? Because they don't do it. They're just, they give you, they set the bar up here and you're like way down here. Like I would read these articles that were like, you know, what you should have in your pantry, should you just have people that stop by? I had no friends there. I just moved there. Nobody was stopping by my house. So I had like a, you know, like, ooh, pantry. I should have chicken broth and cashews and, you know, so I had a chocolate block full and we're just kind of sitting there like, okay. And that's what happens. You have to reinvent your life every time you move to a new place. And so 3 months into our tour there, you know, I met a woman and she invited me for coffee. And I was like trying to play cool. I was like, yeah, that's great. Like, yeah, I'll be over in like 30 minutes. Okay, great. Hung up the phone, danced around my house for being invited to coffee. And so, I know, right? And so what was happening at that point in time in my life, I was mixing, it was so hard for me because here was this wonderful, joyous thing. I had found love where I never thought I would find it. And slowly but surely, that part of me that I'd always known was kind of dripping away and going away. And so I would get up, I'd wash off the counters, I would, you know, figure out what we were going to have for dinner that day. And every day it just cycled and cycled and cycled. And every day, the more I would lose a little bit of what I had always known about myself. And that was hard. Patterns in my life that I trace every day. Patterns as I say the things I always say. Patterns in the ceiling as I lie awake. Why are patterns haunting every move I make? Just look, here I am on cue again, upset, feeling torn in two again. Afraid, saying I'm okay, making little jokes till I run away again. And yet today I am not the same. I feel my life slipping from its frame. Strange feelings rise, feelings with no name, and I can't face them. So I shake them hard, hold them up, and tuck them safely away again. Patterns that begin as I walk through the door. Patterns in the curtains and the kitchen floor. Patterns in the day's routines I must arrange. Patterns in the ways I try, but never change. Just look as I'm thrown a curve again. I leap, and then I lose my nerve again. In tears running home I go, secretly relieved, safe with what I know again. And yet I know I am not the same. Inside my heart is something I can't tame. I feel my mind bursting into flame, and I can't change, or else I'll break apart, break away, and end up having to start again. like to sing sad songs, people. It has nothing to do with anything, actually. For me, I love that song, actually. I was like, where am I going to put it? Let's put it there. You know, I was saying, how do I say this? Life got better. Let me make sure that you don't think I was all like, I got a job. We traveled. Oh my God, the things that we have seen, the places we have gone. I wouldn't trade those 4 years in England for anything. I wouldn't trade my marriage for anything. But for me, that thing was like letting go of my expectations in life and embracing what my life was becoming, you know? Because I had a destination that I had in my life, that I had in mind, and God had a better one for me. So once I actually let go of all those preconceived ideas of where I should have been and what I should be doing, life got so much better. Because the one thing I learned in England, you either get busy living or get busy dying. You know, you got to make your own things. I made tons of friends. I started doing a little theater. Life got really good. So that when it was time to move, I was like, I want to do theater. I want to come. Now, mind you, I would have never thought that I would have ever been in Oklahoma City. That's not putting it, it'd have been like, where do you want to go in this life? Oklahoma City. You know? I mean, wait a minute, the first place I would have thought. But I was like, I'd like to be close to our families, and I want to do theater. And we're like, okay. And Eddie was really gracious, and he was like, well, it's a really tough assignment, but because that's what you want to do. And he was so good to me. So I come to Oklahoma City, a place, once again, my life turning in a place that I never would have thought. And I am completely embraced in the theater community. I started doing improv. The last 3 years of my life have been probably some of the best artistic years of my life. And my marriage is in a beautiful, wonderful place. So I have no complaints. I might be short, I might be round, I might be brown, but life is good for me right now. So, because for me, this whole act was about risk, you know, taking out there, stepping out there. Taking a risk, because for me, love is a risk, and trust is a risk, and life is a beautiful, exquisitely awesome, blissful risk. Somebody hold me too close. Somebody hurt me too deep. Somebody sit in my chair and ruin my sleep and make me aware of being alive, being alive. Somebody need me too much. Somebody know me too well. Somebody pull me up short and put me through hell and give me support for being alive. Make me alive. Make me alive. Make me confused. Mock me with praise. Let me be used. Vary my days, but alone is alone, not alive. Somebody crowned me with a love. Somebody forced me to care. Somebody help me come through. I'll always be there, as frightened as you, to make us alive. Being alive, being alive, being Last song. Coming up. Okay, so I had a different ending for this originally, but I know we established that I'm short, round, and brown. But there's one other thing that I'm never gonna be. If any of you know me, you know that my Spanish is atrocious. If you drop me in the middle of Mexico, I could order a beer and tacos, but if I had to go to the restroom, boop, gone, nope. Just stand there and just look on the corner and just look pitiful. You know, I am the reason that Hooked for Phonics doesn't always work. Because I was in like my second semester, my second year of high school Spanish before I realized that verbs were conjugated. I was like, oh, os, on, what does that mean? Oh, they're like different, oh my God. That's my teacher was like shocked. But I knew how to pronounce things phonetically. So I would read like this paragraph of things, and I would look at my mom and go, what did I just read? What did I just say? And she was like, I've never seen anything like that in my whole life. So originally I had everything, but my mom and I were talking. And so I have decided that because I will never ever be a Latin singer, I'm going to sing a Spanish song for you. Yeah. And my mom was a little prone to the melodramatic, you know where I get it from. And so she wanted me to raise my finger in the air and say, para mi gente, which means for my people. But instead, I will keep my hand down to my side and I will say, para mi madre. I'm making a lot of those awe moments. And I'm using the words. The song is called Tu Solo Tu. Miro como ando mi amor por tu querer, borracha y apasionada, no más por tu amor. Mira cómo ando mi bien, muy dada la borrachera y la perdición. Mariachis are supposed to be singing. I hear I don't know the words. Solo tu sombra fatal, sombra del mar. Me sigue por donde quiera con obstinación. Y por quererte olvidar, me tiro la borrachera y la perdición. Tú, solo tú, has llenado de luto mi vida, habiendo una herida en mi corazón. Tú, solo tú, eres causa de todo mi llanto, de miras de encanto y desesperación.